So this has been a requested video. I know some of you don't have access to a climbing gym and you wonder how you can train climbing without actually climbing. So today I'm going to show you first some exercises that you can do at home and also some exercises that you could do at any gym. So the best way of training climbing without actually climbing is by getting a hangboard. There are many different types of hangboards, like these ones made out of plastic or wood, which I would say is the better option. Some boards will have a lot of different holds, and to be honest, you don't really need that. You only need a few good edges. And the reason I prefer a wooden board is because there's less friction, so you have to rely more on strength. And also it won't wear your skin out so quickly. Pain is less of a factor. As I've mentioned before, I like to use a half crimp. Unless I'm training for something like pockets, then I would use an open hand. And I always try to avoid full crimp when I'm training. So I like to incorporate this into my climbing by doing 6-second hangs, 4 on each side with 4-minute rest. But I know people who've been forced to do this instead of climbing, and some of them say it's even made them stronger. So if you don't have time to climb as much as you want, but you still want to improve your grip strength, it's so weird for me to say grip strength. I want to say finger strength. Anyways, then you should get a hangboard made out of wood and maybe check out some longer programs online. There are plenty of programs out there. And if you want your home setup to be a little bit extra fancy, you can also add a pulley system, like this one. With this setup, if you need any help, you know exactly how much help you're getting. And what I try to really focus on these hangs is to try my very best every single time. Because the most beneficial part of this hang are the last 2 seconds that you maybe didn't think you were able to do. Of course, you can also train with both hands at the same time. And then you might even want to add some weight. I usually prefer adding weight, because if the holds get too small, I feel like the hang is more about friction and pain. And those are factors that I want to eliminate. I want the hang to be more or less only about power. There is definitely a high risk of getting injured hangboarding. So I don't recommend this for anyone who hasn't climbed for a while or who is still growing. If you for some reason don't want to get a hangboard, there are other options, like a portable hangboard. This you can definitely do anywhere and you don't have to screw anything into your walls. This I shot in my apartment actually. So you attach any kind of hold to a weight and see how much you can pull for 6 seconds. I am using the progressor, but you could also just use a normal hanging weight. So that was the home part. Now I'm gonna show you what you can do to improve your climbing in a normal gym. So you guys obviously know how to do pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, muscle-ups, all that stuff. And that's obviously great for climbing, but I'm gonna focus on some exercises that you maybe didn't know of or you didn't know was good for climbing. This first one helps you stay close to the wall, as illustrated here in slow motion, and is called bench pull. You want the bench to be a little bit higher than I have it here. As you can see, I put 2 mats underneath the bench to make it a little bit higher. After experimenting with different weight, I found 70 kilos to be the right weight for me. 8 repetitions, and I tried to be as explosive as possible. Do you think it's a little bit cringy to do this without a shirt? Yeah, it's a little bit cringy. Yeah, it's a little bit cringy. Yeah, maybe. Here is a sideways dyno. And the next exercise that I'm gonna show you will help you on this move, as well as many other moves. I'll show you all of these boulders at the end of this tutorial. To be honest, I don't know the name of this next one, but if you do, you should definitely comment below. So you need a corner to place the bar in for it to be stable. I go down slowly, and then I explode back up to the neutral position. And I do this 8 times on each side. Let's pull the boulder back up and see it next to the exercise to see if it really looks similar. I guess the first move is more about power in your legs, and then it's about coordination. This exercise will definitely help you on other moves though. Moving on to finger curls. And this is a very good exercise for finger strength. In climbing, you're usually locking a grip and not actively squeezing or doing something like you're doing here. But this is a great exercise for climbing. And to be honest, I didn't know of this exercise until Sebastian Helenke showed it to me.
Like this, down, and roll it up by complete. So in this way you have first the pressure here and goes all the way up until the most upper part of the forearm.
Sebastian is a World Cup winner, and he swore to this as one of his favorite exercises. Wrist curls has always been one of my favorite exercises, but I always thought of it as an antagonist exercise. But I've been told that the muscles in the forearms are more connected than you think. And even though it seems like you're only working out the upper part of the forearm, you're actually directly improving certain types of finger strength. And here's another finger strength exercise that you can do at the gym. So for this one, I keep my fingers flat to work a different type of finger strength. As you can see, this weight has a rail, but I'm not using that. I want my fingers to be flat, like when I'm holding a sloper, or in this case, slapping a sloper. I can lift more if I bend my fingers, kind of like this. And that's another good exercise, just not what we're trying to work here. This next move is called a dead point. It's a dynamic move, but not a dyno. And there are of course many ways to work this move, but I'm gonna show you one pull-up variation that I think is good. And remember, I will show you all of these pullers at the end of this tutorial. You reach as high as you can with one hand, and make sure that you don't fall back on a straight arm, because that could be very bad for your shoulders. And here I wouldn't go for max reps. Just like with pull-ups, if I do one max set with pull-ups, I'm gonna get too tired and the quality of my next set is gonna drop too much. So 3 or 4 on each side is a good amount for me. What you should focus on is getting as high as you can every time, and staying as high as you can for as long as possible. In this tutorial, I'm using the pull-up bar a lot. And the pull-up bar can be used for finger strength as well. Half crimp, open hand, even added weight if you want. And if you want better grip, taping the bar could be a good idea. Okay, so we're moving on, and I'm pretty sure you've all seen the next one. Dips, or weighted dips. And this will definitely help your climbing. If you look at how I switch and push with my right arm now. I mean, this is not the best example, but I think you get the picture. That is 40 kilos on me. And I'll try to do 6 repetitions. One thing that I like about dips is that no matter how hard I push it, I still don't feel too sore to climb the next day. So unlike pull-ups, I can try really hard. Okay, so over to another one that I think you all know, bicep curls. I like to do it with free weights, but obviously you could also do it with a bar. I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to these exercises, but I always try to keep a good posture. You definitely don't want huge arms in climbing, but doing a few bicep curls I don't think hurts, especially not for underclings. I guess my conclusion is that I don't want a big bicep, but I definitely want a strong bicep. Okay, so we're moving on to front levers, and this is definitely one of my favorites. So I'll show you how to practice it. I would definitely recommend using resistant bands. The colorful things hanging behind me there. And the hardest part about this is actually getting into it. And some people just practice this by holding the position, but I prefer going up and down, like I'm doing here. There are of course other ways to practice a front lever as well, without using a resistance band. by bending your legs or just bending one leg, or you could get a friend to assist you. But regardless of how you try it, improving at front levers will definitely help your climbing. And leg raises will also benefit your climbing. And if you're not able to do them yet, you can practice them by lifting your legs halfway up or just lifting your knees. Okay, so now I'll show you the boulders that I use to illustrate certain movements. Starting with this red 7B. This is a sideways triple dyno. So you go 3 times and it's more about coordination, to be honest. This was the only boulder I shot in slow-mo because I thought it looked cool. There wasn't supposed to be any climbing in this video at all, but here we go. It would have been too bad to waste good footage of boulders like this though, so... And it's always fascinating to me how easy these boulders feel when you do them right. Other than just climbing, there's not much you can do to improve your coordination for climbing. You can try one of these things out, but it's not really going to help that much. So this orange one is a 7A and pretty straightforward on in-cut edges. So in-cut is the same as a positive hold. And then there's negative holds that are more like slopers. This one is a little bit more tricky. You have that first big Gaston move. And most of the holds on this are negative, except for that crimp. That's a very small hold, but it's still positive. And then what you call a switch on the right hand. And the last part is really awkward, getting that foot up high and matching the top hold. That might be the crux actually. And this next orange one is not only the hardest boulder in the gym, it's also the loudest. And the next boulder is a 7B plus that I use to illustrate the dead point move on. So this is the last boulder that I have for you guys today, and the first move is also a dead point. I can try to explain this boulder like I would to just one of my friends. So you start on a side pull and a crimp, and you do a dead point move up to a crimp. You take a pretty big swing, you get a really high left foot, go out left to an undercling, switch your right hand, go again left hand, and go again another time. Get a high right toe hook. That's not a toe hook. Grab a crimp, cross under to another crimp. Get a undercling, match feet, come into another undercling, match feet again, go up to a small but positive edge, match feet a third time, and cross to the top jug. So that was it for this video. Hopefully you found it somewhat useful. If you want me to make more tutorials, you should comment down below what kind of tutorials you want me to make. and I'll try my best to make them. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me a lot. And also make sure you're subscribed with post notifications on. Yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video.